Good, 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 good. Saturday morning, everybody. Looks like my name is covering my face, but maybe that's not a bad thing. Happy Saturday, everyone. We are kicking off the day, honestly, pretty great. Consistently, we talked about this earlier this week. Rain chances have been a little bit lower, trending closer to Saturday, which has been a welcome change. Not only have we had 17 weekends so far this year, I'm not including, of course, this one, and 11 of those have rained, but 8 of those 11 have just been in the past 8 weeks. So I think this could be one of the first weekends in quite some time that we have seen no measurable rainfall at Charlotte Douglas International. So let's get right to the forecast. Good morning, Kels. It's my best friend Kelsey. Got to see her last weekend. Blew out some candles for our 30th birthdays. Mine in March, hers a few weeks ago in April. Um, if you guys missed me last Sunday too, I'm sorry. I missed you guys too, but we'll be back tomorrow. Oh, of course, I just thought about this. You didn't see me last Sunday, and then of course you didn't get to see us today on TV because of King Charles's coronation. Don't worry, Caitlin Hagwood and I will be back tomorrow morning on Wake Up Charlotte Weekend starting at 6 a.m. Of course, the coronation of King Charles is happening right now on NBC, and then later on today, Kentucky Derby, if you like horse races. Good morning, James. Hopefully you're having a great day so far. So let's get to the forecast, shall we? We have sunshine mixed in with a few clouds seen here from Monroe, Kannapolis, Dallas, and even up toward Boone. It truthfully has been a great morning so far. What you are going to notice as we progress throughout the day is a mix of clouds and sunshine kind of off and on. We have a surface trough that's kind of situated just to our south and west. And for areas southwest of there, so clouds, areas of rain down toward Atlanta, even the upstate of South Carolina, it's kind of what they're dealing with there. Whereas we have a blocking high pressure system over the eastern Carolinas that's helping kind of keep a lot of that rain away from us. I do want to point out, I don't expect us to be completely dry today, but I think most of the day will be dry. So I'm keeping that stray shower potential in still, but with more sunshine this afternoon, I've bumped up our high temperatures again back into the upper 70s. I've even bumped us to about 81 degrees for tomorrow. So we're going to they're always separate days. Oh, thanks, Kels. They're always separate days, but I really want us to think of Saturday and Sunday as two completely separate entities today as we break down the hour by hour forecast. Because there's so much stuff going on here locally across the area this weekend. So first things first, Wells Fargo Championship. Of course, it's the last 2 days. Some changes for Wells Fargo Championship today versus what we've seen earlier this week. Winds coming in out of the south and east. This is a little bit more muggy, and it's the opposite wind direction of when players were practicing earlier this week, so they will have to adjust based on that. They're also going to want to adjust, especially for Sunday, based on that increase in humidity. And third of all, it's not nearly as windy. So, kind of how they correct, their swing and things like that will be a lot different based on earlier this week. But we do, of course, appreciate when the wind is a little bit lighter. Something else going on today, of course, it's the Fort Mill Strawberry Festival. Some of your WCNC Charlotte favorites, including myself, will be out there today. Again, a stray shower possible kind of by the late morning, early part of the afternoon, but it's not expected to be widespread. Yes, we will see more clouds and sunshine at times, especially the further south you go across the Piedmont, but it is not going to be a bad day by any stretch of the imagination. Temperatures, of course, expected in the upper 70s this afternoon. Now, then as we get closer to tomorrow, you are going to notice some changes. So let's talk Saturday still. Again, sunshine mixed in with some clouds. You can kind of see the hour by hour future cast as I roll through. Keep in mind that you're going to see tiny little spurts there of some light green. Those are those spotty showers. But again, it is not aggressive. It is not widespread by any stretch of the imagination. Now, as we get closer to Sunday morning, clouds are going to start to increase. So Sunday, we'll likely see more cloud cover to kick off the day versus what we're seeing right now. And then eventually by the early afternoon, a few storms will start to move in for parts of the mountains. That'll be around 3 and 4 o'clock. Eventually that will reach likely parts of the Piedmont closer to about 6, 7, and 8 p.m. And then after that, we will start to see most of those storms move toward the south. So I don't expect it to be kind of an early afternoon situation for Charlotte specifically. It'll be more so late afternoon, early parts of the evening. Now, thankfully, We are going to see some daytime heating and some uptick in moisture, but it does not at this point look to be enough to prompt severe storms. But of course, lightning, always a potential when we have that thunderstorm risk. Again, you can see that in blue, it's just a general thunderstorm. Now, if you're wondering, Brittany, what the heck does that mean? The answer is a general thunderstorm just means run of the mill showers and storms. We're talking thunder, we're talking lightning, we're talking, of course, that daytime heating, that moisture, but we're not necessarily hitting that severe category. Remember, severe thunderstorms is hail over an inch, a tornado, or wind gusts over 60 miles per hour. It does not have to be all three, it just has to be one of them. So that's kind of what we're looking at for tomorrow. So no severe storms are expected in our local forecast. But we are going to notice an increase in humidity, and this is actually going to be something that'll slowly kind of be climbing through late this evening and into tomorrow. So as we hit our dew points, this is the measure of moisture in the atmosphere. We talk a lot about humidity versus dew points. It gets a little bit confusing. The way you should think about it is this: dew point is going to be higher, for example, in areas in the Carolinas. It will feel stickier with the same dew point, right, than if you're talking about, let's say, Miami. So if we have drier air moving in, places that are typically used to seeing higher dew points, like South Florida, are going to be, maybe more impacted by it in the case of like, oh, they get like some nice dry air. But we feel stickier here in the Carolinas versus them when it comes to the dew point. So the closer the dew point is to the temperature, the amount of relative humidity. So for example, in the mornings during the summertime, I hope this makes sense. So during the summertime in the mornings, let's say your air temperature is 75 degrees because it's, summer. And then your dew point is 73. That's pretty freaking sticky, right? And the relative humidity there is probably going to be, I can't do the quick math, but I would say maybe 93% or so, because of course, 73 divided by 75. Actually, let's do that math really quick. I'm going to use a calculator though, because so it's 97% relative humidity. But even throughout the afternoon, even as the air temperature reaches 95, a dew point of 73 is still really, really high. So 95 degrees, dew point of 73, you're still going to have, of course, still elevated high humidity, but also the dew point is a lot higher, so it's going to feel stickier outside. So you're going to see likely heat index in that case of probably 101 or something like that. Versus when you have a dew point of, let's say, 50 and the air temperature is 95, your humidity level is not as high. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, let's go back to the forecast. So dew point temperatures as of late have been mostly in the 30s and 40s. We're eventually going to reach the upper 40s and lower 50s this afternoon. You'll notice it's kind of in the brown shading, which is kind of mid-range here on our dew point temperature map, but it's still going to be a little bit higher than where we have been as of late. So we hit this afternoon into tomorrow morning, we're talking mid 50s. That honestly is still not bad, but what happens in the afternoon is we start to see all of that warm southerly wind come in, and that's actually going to put our dew points eventually into the 60s. Now, if it was summer, 60 would be a welcome change. But again, it's not something that we've seen in quite some time. So we are going to be looking at dew points in the 60s, feeling at least stickier than where we have been. Compared to the last few months, the last few weeks, things like that. And I've even seen dew points go up as high as about 64 at times for Sunday. So it's also going to stick around through the early part of next week. And that'll allow for just that kind of run of the mill shower and storm activity that we typically see again during summertime. So because we're going to be so much warmer than average for this time of year, we're going to see sunshine move in. We're going to have an uptick in humidity that is going to prompt some scattered storms both Monday and Tuesday. Now, the difference between these scattered storms is they're not really as much so driven by a frontal boundary, which is what we've had as of late. In the winter months, a lot of our rain and storms, and even into spring months too, right, are driven by fronts. So we get a lot of frontal rain and then a lot of dry time. Versus during the summer, we have all of the warmth, all of the moisture overhead, all of the instability, and that allows us to kind of hit those afternoon storms every single day, right? Like it feels like during the summer. So there's kind of a difference between the two: frontal driven rain and storms, and of course driven by just our atmospheric conditions. So still frontal driven for today and tomorrow if we see any of that isolated rain, versus Monday and Tuesday, because we're going to get so much stickier. That's going to be largely driven just by the fact that we're warm. We're muggy. There's a lot of instability, and we have high temperatures on Tuesday, especially reaching the upper 80s. This will likely be the warmest day of the year so far. In fact, some spots could get close to 90 degrees across portions of the Piedmont and down toward the Sandhills. Now, late next week, it does look like we start to see some slightly drier air move in, so I have shifted our rain chances down just a hair as we get closer to late Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But I think Monday and Tuesday, especially, will be a very different change than what we've been used to as of late. So probably a bit of a shock to the system. So folks should definitely prepare for that. But other than that, if you have outdoor plans, of course, today, Wells Fargo Championship going to be great. Strawberry Festival going to be great. Something we haven't talked about as much this week, just because we, of course, have had that Wells Fargo Championship going on. Charlotte FC is back at home at Bank of America Stadium. Their forecast today looks good. Tuesday could get a little bit dicey based on those rain and storms. And of course, we know even from last year's games, if you guys, or I guess last year's matches, excuse me, you guys remember we were kind of tracking that opportunity for rain and storms, what felt like every single match, but it's kind of just what happens, as we get closer to August, September here in the Carolinas. So this is kind of the time of year that we're lesser worried about storms versus later on. So hopefully this all made sense. What you need to know, of course, is that today's forecast again has trended drier. I am expecting only a stray shower across the area, partly sunny, highs in the upper 70s. Tomorrow, 81, so it'll be even warmer, more humid on Sunday with a few showers and storms in the late afternoon and early evening. I hope everybody has a wonderful Saturday. And if you want to come hang, we'll see you at the Fort Mill Strawberry Festival. Have a great day, everyone.